you're here, you might already be a digital nomad, or you might be looking into the digital nomad lifestyle. So that is what we're going to be talking about a little bit. I am Andrea Valeria, and I run this vlog with a V as in video blog, called It's a Travel OD, in which I overdose in travel. And aside from showing people the destinations and kind of where I go, I also like to show people how I do it and how I'm able to support myself while I am on the road. So we're going to be talking a little bit about how I got started, some secrets, some things I've learned along the way, things that I've seen other digital nomads do, and I'm gonna try and share as much as I can with you so that you can possibly steal some of the ideas and stuff that I've been learning and apply them to your own life, because that's what it's all about, sharing what we know so that other people can be motivated or inspired to do something similar. First of all, I want to talk about what is a digital nomad. A digital nomad is basically a way in which you work and live your life, kind of more of like a lifestyle. A lot of people think that being a digital nomad is a job, but it's not really a job, because you can do all kinds of jobs while being a digital nomad, which means while being location independent. Basically, being a digital nomad is about finding ways to do whatever you do and do it remotely. So what you do is, if you offer services or if you have a skill, if whatever you're good at, you want to try and find a way in which you can put the systems in place to do that same thing you do remotely. And there are many different kinds of ways in which you can achieve that. And we can talk a little bit more about that. But being a digital nomad to me is being able to travel and live on the road. So that means working on the road as well, because you want to make it sustainable. For me, being a digital nomad is sprinkling as many vacation elements into your everyday life so that it's all super enjoyable, and so that you don't have to escape from your regular life, you know? Sometimes when you have a normal job or one of those 9-to-5 jobs, you're like, oh my God, I need the weekend to get here, or I cannot wait for my vacation. In my case, and in the case of a lot of digital nomads, we really don't have that feeling, because we have constructed this lifestyle for ourselves, in which if we need a break, we can take it. If we want to go to the beach in the middle of the week, we can do it. If we want to take a day trip, we can do it. And of course, it takes a little bit of time to get to that moment, and it's not going to happen overnight. But with a little bit of work, and maybe with some of the tips I'm going to give you here, you might be able to do it too. So let's talk more about that. A lot of people sell this idea of, I quit my job and started traveling the world and everything was magical, and I had this year of traveling around and it was fantastic. However, a lot of the times that might not be sustainable, because if you do that, if you set yourself up to take like a sabbatical year, you save money, you travel, and you might run out of money in the long run, or not in the long run, you might run out of money during that time when you're traveling. So that's not what I recommend. I recommend setting up the systems and putting up the systems in place so that you can, sustain it, so that you can work while you're on the road. There are many ways to do it. You can have one remote job, so that means you have one employer, you work for one company, you report to them during certain times of the day, you get your work done, and that's it. So that is one way, and it's totally fine to do it that way. However, a lot of people, maybe they're freelancers, and you can have multiple companies or people that hire you to offer them some sort of skill, and that's another way to do it, being a freelancer who is also a digital nomad. You can also be completely self-employed and have your own company. You can be a small business owner and do completely your own thing, and also be a digital nomad. Or you can even do a mix of all of those. So whatever it is that you decide to do, don't think that there's one way to do it, or don't think that you have to be in like a creative field to pull it off. There's so many things you can do. Here is how I started, though, in case you're interested. Basically, I had one full-time 9-to-5 job when I was living in Hawaii, and I did that for 2 years. Basically, I talked to my bosses and convinced them of doing that same job I was doing, but doing it on the road. Basically, I was in a management type of position, and I was able to transfer that same job to full-time but remote. So that is when I embarked on my digital nomadism adventures, and I moved to Argentina. And for 6 months, I was working this full-time remote job for one company. But since you are remote and doing your own thing and kind of making your own schedule a lot of the times, it gives you a lot of flexibility to start organizing your life and picking up side hustles and starting new things on your free time. So in my case, I'm kind of a night owl. So what I would do is in the mornings, I wouldn't do a lot of mornings. I would wake up kind of late because that's my style. And I would work out and do my own thing, and then I would start working at around 1 p.m. and then from like 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. I would work full-time for this company, and then after that I would start working on my side hustles. My side hustles were vlogging, so a lot of talking to cameras like I'm doing right now, and talking to cameras not only for my own travel vlog that I do now, but also doing it for other companies. That means that if you have a skill, you want to use it to make money. So I started vlogging for brands or companies and making money off of that as a side hustle while I was doing my full-time job. Then I transitioned into part-time remote with that company because I had already a little like portfolio of clients that I was getting some income from. So when I was ready and when I had enough clients, I switched to part-time. I didn't completely quit my job because if you can have one steady income, you want to keep it so that you can, get creative and make mistakes on the side, but you can still pay your bills. You know what I mean? So then after that, of course, when I switched to part-time, I had even more time to work on my own thing. Right? So since I had more time to work on my own thing, I went full force into the vlogging, branding, online presence, all of that. And when I was ready, then I went completely independent, and I was completely sort of self-employed. But at the same time, I've always worked together with companies, or I've worked with them in partnership or collabed with them, or they had sent me projects or gigs because I always want to have enough to do and have enough income while I set up my own vlogging ventures and vlogging career. To tell you more about what I do right now, I vlog. That means that I make video blogs, so short videos, always with me on camera, talking about different things. Some of the vlogs go on my platforms, and those are the ones that are travel related. And I partner with companies and brands that do travel related things. That way, it's in my same niche and it makes sense for me to talk about it. However, if a company that offers something completely different to what I do wants to partner with me, like I did some vlogs recently for an iPhone app, and it wasn't travel related. So what I did is, of course, I will create content for you so that you can use it for your own social media platforms. This is a good reminder that sometimes you don't even need a big following to offer services. What you need to do is be able to offer them something that they can use. So in my case, it was the vlogs that they could use for their channels. So those are two of the ways in which I make money. Then I also do vlogging consultations, either for individuals or for companies that want to get started from scratch into this whole vlogging thing, or that want to incorporate some sort of video efforts into their model. I sit down with them, and I love coming up with new ideas and just brainstorming. So I sit down with them and I brainstorm, and I give them tips and ideas on how to start and all of that. So that is another thing I do, consultations. And the good thing about that is that consultations is something that you can do remotely. So I turn on my computer, I get on Skype, and I talk to them, and there you go. That's another of my sources of income. However, all of those are active sources of income. I knew I don't know, maybe like a year ago, like, okay, all of my sources of income are active, which means that they take up my time and energy, and I have to be there, present, in order to, get some sort of payment or compensation. However, there are passive sources of income, and those are the ones that I am currently working on. I already started with affiliate marketing, so if you have a blog or a following, affiliate marketing is something that you can definitely look into, because you can sell or you can promote products and guide people to links and things like that, and then get some sort of kickback or like a referral percentage commission bonus thing, and that helps too. Another thing that I did as a passive source of income, while it did take a long time to make, after it's done and you publish it, then it kind of just gives you a compensation every month or so. I'm talking about a book. I wrote a book. I wrote a book, of course, about vlogging. I didn't want to make it all about myself. I wanted to help people, and I wanted to answer all of the questions that they asked me about vlogging and how I got started. So I wrote a book about how people could get started and the equipment they could use, and what to vlog about, and how to create a brand and all of that. So my book is called So You Want to Vlog, and I have it right here. So You Want to Vlog is my first book, which I self-published, and it's on Amazon, and it talks about how you can get started vlogging. So that is a passive source of income that I currently have, and now I just need to market it. So those are all my different sources of income. Did I forget one? I did forget one. Basically, when I was part-time and remote, I also started a cleaning business in my home country of Panama, and I later sold that business. So that was another thing that I did. Basically, you can never put all your eggs in one basket, and I recommend having multiple sources of income. So the more you can do, the better. Now, there's a misconception that to be a digital nomad, you have to be on social media, you have to create content, you have to, have a big social media following, blah, blah, blah. You don't. You don't have to be in the creative field. My first job, like I said before, was in management. I was doing recruiting and hiring and overseeing a team of people remotely. So that was all business and operations kind of things, totally different from what I do now. So you definitely do not have to do anything creative or be in social media. I've heard of one person who is a legal consultant, and they're a digital nomad. I've heard of people who are like financial consultants. There's graphic designers. Actually, I made a little video about people I've met in the past year, or maybe a little bit more, and all the different kinds of jobs they do. So let's roll that.
Hey, what's up? Now that I just finished what I had to do for the day, I'm going to take you to one of my favorite places. Come on.
I am filming a vlog about solo travel.
Vlogging or talking on camera. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. So as you can see, you don't just have to be a blogger or a vlogger or do something creative in order to be a digital nomad. There's endless ways to do it, and as long as you figure out a way to sell or offer your skills or services online, then you can make it happen. So let's talk about the myths surrounding digital nomads. A lot of people think that we are living a hotel life 24/7 and that we are lounging around in our bathrobes and getting room service, but that is more of the life of a luxury traveler. Digital nomads, basically, we find a home base, even if it's just for a month or 2 weeks. People have different travel speeds. I kind of like to travel kind of slow, otherwise I get completely burnt out and then I don't have enough time to work. So for example, I find a city for a month, I rent an apartment like this one I am in right now in Playa del Carmen, and I just live there. And in my free time, I take day trips or I travel around the area. That's also more affordable if you're traveling around the area and exploring around the area than if you're going, you know, spending a bunch of money on tickets. So myth number one, digital nomads are always in hotels. Nope. Also, we are not traveling all the time. People think I'm always doing fun stuff because that's what I'm always posting on my Instagram account. But when I travel, I just take 100,000 pictures and then I post them. So while I'm here, like today, I'll probably post a photo of me by the beach, but that doesn't mean I'm always like doing fun stuff like that. I'm not traveling all the time. Most of the time finding a cool co-working space to try, or just making sure that my apartment has great Wi-Fi so that I can get work done and talk to my clients. So yeah, we're not traveling all the time. Another big misconception, that someone is paying for my trips. Nope, no one pays for my trips. I don't have parents that pay for my trips. I don't have a sugar daddy either. I don't get, I mean, since I wanted to travel more, I started making vlogs that were travel related. So that means that a lot of the projects that I get end up being, you know, travel related. So sometimes I have to vlog and go on a project that requires for me to travel. So I mean, if I'm getting paid to travel, I'm getting paid for a project. So yeah, no one is really paying for my trips, or no one is paying for the trips of all digital nomads. We actually have a job or jobs or a business, and then we just are location independent. And since we have flexibility, then that allows us to travel a little bit more than the people with the regular 9-to-5 jobs. People always think that digital nomads are always by themselves and they're always lonely. Well, that is not the case either. Some digital nomads travel in groups. I know people that have set up businesses with their friends, and then they just travel together as digital nomads to different places, and you know, they work and then they travel in their free time. Also, I meet a lot of people on the road, whether it is online and then I meet them up in person, or there's digital nomad meetups in a lot of the places where I go. So I go to one of these, and if I'm staying there for a month, I can 100% meet someone from, you know, that meetup and then hang out with them for that month, and then maybe longer if I like them. So yeah, we're not always lonely. When you travel solo, you actually get not forced, but you get pushed out of your comfort zone to to meet people, and I hang out with people all the time. I mean, I'm alone right now, but and big myth that we are always on vacation. No, we are not always on vacation, but as long as I have Wi-Fi, I can work from anywhere. So if I'm posting a photo by the beach, that means that I found a restaurant that has pretty good Wi-Fi by the beach, and I had my laptop and I was working, and then in my free time I snapped a photo, that's what I posted, and then that's what people see, and that's what people think that I'm doing all the time. But no, we are not always on vacation, but we are doing a really good job of being in pretty places, and we are living in places where people vacation, so that's one of the big perks. So what are some of the biggest perks of being a digital nomad? Well, number one, the flexibility to be anywhere, have your own schedule, to not have to go to an office all the time, not have to commute. All those things are really big perks. Aside from, of course, being able to dress from the waist up for the video calls, and then wear whatever you want underneath. I am 100% wearing pajama shorts right now, for example. So I mean, little things like that are so comfortable and so great about being a digital nomad and then being able to work from home a lot. For me, also one of the biggest perks, the location independence. That means that I can be here in Mexico one day, and then if I want to go to freaking Costa Rica next month, I can do it. There is no limits on where you can be, and since you don't have to report to an office or anything like that, well, you can just be anywhere. So that, of course, big perk. And of course, traveling, day trips, meeting people that do similar things than you, getting to see different countries, different cultures, eating all the good things every country has to offer. I could go on and on because I love being a digital nomad. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that being a digital nomad is for everyone. It is not. Some personalities are just not cut for, the digital nomad life. Maybe you like having a steady home base and having your own car that you use every day, and your gym and grocery store that you go to, and seeing your family all the time. If those are things that you prioritize, then being a digital nomad might not be for you. But if you are a little bit more in the free spirit side and you do not care about those things, you might want to try being a digital nomad for a little bit. So isolation might be one of the things that people worry about. And actually, I have to say that some of the times I spend days in which I don't see anyone, mostly because if I am moving to new places all the time, of course, it's easy, it's maybe not for everyone, but it is possible to make friends rather quickly if you get out of your comfort zone and try to meet people. However, as soon as you get there, there's no way you'll have a friend. So isolation kind of plays a role. So I've done a few things to avoid feeling isolated, or to avoid feeling lonely, or sometimes you just need a social fix. And when you do, there's things you can do. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But before, I want to say something that the thing that has been the hardest for me in my journey as a digital nomad has been finding the discipline to work when you have so many cool and pretty things going on around you. When you just go to a place, you want to sightsee, you want to explore, you want to do all these amazing things that this new location has to offer. However, if you don't work, you're not going to get paid. And if you don't get paid, you can't keep traveling. So finding the discipline to say, okay, I need to separate my days, and I need to, sit down, work. And if I do all of that, then I can travel. That was the hardest part for me at the beginning. Now, thankfully, I think I have it down. I'm going to share a little bit of what I do in case you want to know. Basically, Monday and Tuesday, I am always sitting down in front of my computer, whether it is at home, at a coffee shop, or at a co-working space, working. Those are my go days. Sometimes I put in 14 hours a day because that's how I like it, and I get most of the things, the most important things done. Then the rest of the week, I take it a little bit slower. I don't work as much. Sometimes I do day trips in the middle of the week. And then I do this thing called the doggy treat system, which works for me. Basically, I have a bunch of tasks in my to-do list, and if I don't complete a few of those, or 3 or 4 depending on what's going on, if I don't complete some of those, I can't go to the beach, or I can't go meet up with friends at lunch, or I can't go eat carrot cake on the, there's a place around here that has really good carrot cake, and I'm always dreaming about it. But if I don't finish all the tasks that I need to finish, then I can't go eat my carrot cake. Now let's talk about the isolation problem that I was talking about earlier. Basically, you can start feeling lonely if you're a digital nomad. So if it's not as easy for you to make friends, or even if it is, sometimes you just need a change and you want to be around people. I mean, one of the biggest, coolest things about having the regular jobs is that you start making friends, and the person that sits next to you, eventually they know all your life, and you can chat with them and then go to lunch with them and maybe do happy hour after. So that is one of the things that you start missing when you are a digital nomad. Like, you don't have a community kind of. So one thing that I did that was completely out of my comfort zone, because I'm used to traveling by myself, is that I went I traveled with other digital nomads. So we went to different cities, we lived in the same place, and we did all the same things together for a while. I did that through a company called Trippin. They organize group travel for digital nomads, and they do it around Latin America. So I did that, and I went with them to Mexico City, Playa del Carmen, and we went to Bogota also. The cool thing about this is that they planned everything. So I'm always scared that if I spend so much time planning trips and trying to find the next location where I'm going to move and trying to see where I'm going to live there and book a ticket, all that takes time. And if you do that too much, eventually you are going to be missing out or losing time that you can be using to work and make money. So since you don't want to do that, this was a great alternative for me, because I signed up with them and they basically sent me all the itineraries, where we were going to stay, memberships to co-working spaces, and yeah, they set everything up. So I would just have to, show up, go, travel. Oh, and by travel I mean go to the different cities. They had everything planned, and I had time to work because all of the plans and the tours and the activities that they had for us weren't mandatory. So I could either work or I could just go and have fun and do the sightseeing things. And the cool thing is that since everyone was kind of in my same boat, like they also were digital nomads, so they had the priority to also work, you weren't really like having this peer pressure to like go out or do fun things or go explore, because people, they wanted to work too, and then in their free time they wanted to explore. So it was cool to have everything planned, and most importantly, it was cool to do it with like-minded people. My group, I was really lucky because there were a lot of people that I liked. So we had a lot of things in common that you don't usually meet if you are just, exploring a city. But if you go to one of these planned group things like job tripping, then it's cool because you are going to meet other digital nomads with similar interests. And how many times have I said similar interests? Lots of times, right? But basically, it was fun because I met cool people that I collaborated with, I brainstormed with. They actually have another trip coming up in October. I kind of want to go again. And you can do, the whole 6 months and do like 1 month in each city. So it's just one idea if you think you want to be a digital nomad but you don't want to be by yourself all the time. Since I became a digital nomad for the past 3 years, I have been around Latin America a lot. I mean, I am originally from Latin America, so it's not too out of my comfort zone. I'm from Panama City, but I haven't lived there in like 12 years. So I've stayed around Latin America for a lot of reasons. One, because I kind of feel comfortable with the culture and all of that, and they speak Spanish, so I'm being kind of lazy in terms of learning other languages at the moment, just because I am working on building my business and my brand, so I don't want to have that much of a challenge yet. So for now, Latin America is working for me, also because I really like the weather in most of the places where I've been, like Mexico City, for example. They have like 60 Fahrenheit degree weather a lot of the time, and it's sunny and great, and well, I love visiting Mexico. Right now I am in Mexico, in Playa del Carmen, and this is a beach town, so I like the vibes and the culture and the customer service and all kinds of things. I mean, people have different reasons in which they travel, and finding really nice people everywhere you go, really, it's something that I really value, and I found that here. That's why I keep coming back. So this is kind of one of my home bases. So aside from the people and the culture and all the fun things that you can find in all the places I've been visiting around Latin America, also I've been getting a lot of job opportunities around here, so that is why I have personally stayed around here a lot. And yeah, I don't know, I just really like it around here, and it's, I don't know, it's, I think everyone should come because it's fun. Whatever, I like Latin America, what can I say? But I'm Latin, so I'm biased. So yes, I really like preaching the whole do what you love thing. I even got a tattoo that says do what you love. That's how obsessed I am with the idea that everyone should do what they love. It is something that takes a little bit more work to make a living out of, because it's not the usual, you find a job and then you just go and do it. It's something that you usually have to work harder to achieve in most cases. But when you do finally get to do what you love for a living, it makes it so much more rewarding. So I really recommend that whatever it is you do, don't give up and try hard until you can do it, because once you do it, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I am living the life. That's kind of what I felt the first time I got paid to do a vlog. That was in 2012 or 13. And that is a feeling that I want everyone to have as well. So that's why I like to remind everyone that you can always do what you love if you work hard. The whole overdose and travel thing is also kind of like my lifestyle, so I'd like to talk a lot about that and how people can start incorporating more travel into their lives. If you can become a digital nomad tomorrow, that's totally understandable. It's not something that happens like this. It takes time, and while you're trying to achieve that, or even if you don't want to become a digital nomad, I think that incorporating more travel into your everyday life can be, really good for the mind, because you want to find that work-life balance and you do not want to be looking forward to your next vacation. So if you find ways in which you can maybe work from home a few days and schedule a few day trips, or even do staycations and travel around where you are, or go one day and travel and work, take your laptop to like a cool coffee shop, anything that feels kind of out of your normal day-to-day life and routine, all of that really comes into the overdose in travel lifestyle that I like to preach. It's not just taking a vacation or a trip to a fancy destination and lounging around and drinking pina coladas by the beach for a week, because I mean, we can't all just do that all the time. That's not super realistic, but we all can definitely find ways to, do more cool things more often. Another thing is that I think everyone should try different ways of traveling. Some people like to, just go to resorts. How about you try something completely different, like something off the beaten path? That is usually where a lot of, like magical moments happen, because you're opening your eyes and your mind to different experiences, and that is usually just really special. For example, I am used to traveling solo, and I have done different things lately to change it up and spice it up, and not always be such like in my comfort zone. So lately I've been going to hostels. I had never been to a hostel, so I went to a hostel for the first time, and it was interesting I still did it by myself, but it was different than just staying in a hotel, because you get to interact and talk to a lot of people. Another thing that I did was I went to a retreat for the first time, and it was like an entrepreneurial retreat for all women. That was cool too, because it is an organized group thing it was for a week, and while I didn't have enough time to like sit down and work, so that wouldn't be sustainable for a long period of time, but for like a short time it was interesting and it was different. And then the other thing that I did was travel with a group of digital nomads when I did job tripping, and that was also cool because it was totally out of my comfort zone, but it taught me so many things, and it allowed me to be with other people that I could collaborate with, people that I could be inspired with, people that I could learn from. Like, I remember there was this girl there, her name is Danielle. Hello Danielle, if you're watching. She has such a great work ethic, and I saw how she set up her business, on how she set up her blog, and how she was doing everything that she was doing. She was the one actually that got me into affiliate marketing. I hadn't thought about that until that point. So you can learn from all the people that you travel with when you get out of your comfort zone and do something like travel in a group. So yeah, that is all I have to tell you for now. And yeah, just always remember to try and do what you love, to overdose in travel, and to always find ways to be inspired by cool things. And one of the things in which you can do that is by trying different things. So if one of the things that you want to try out is to travel with other digital nomads like I did, then I suggest you check out Job Tripping to see what their program is like. The program I know starts in October and it's around Latin America, and you will go to Mexico, Playa del Carmen, where I am right now. You will go to Colombia, Peru, Chile, and Argentina. So if that's something you want to try, jobtripping.com, so you can see how it all works. It was really nice talking to you via this camera. My name is Andrea Valeria, and I run a vlog with travel-related topics in which I talk about not only the places I visit, but also how I am working and how other people who are digital nomads are making it happen and doing cool travel related projects. It's a Travel OD is how you can find me on Instagram and Facebook, and yeah, go follow me. I am Andrea. It's a Travel OD. Nice talking to you. Bye.